All right, now let's get into some power rankings. The first of the regular season. I did preseason power rankings, but now we get to do some way too early power rankings. And you guys love them, you hate them, you love to give me your opinion on them, and now we're going to do them. And I'm going to explain them on this show. So producer Conrad is going to come out, and we're going to walk through them one by one, and I'm going to explain why everybody is where on the first week's MLB power rankings.
All right, coming in at number 10, we have the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, the Giants were right around here on my preseason rankings. They won their series, but it was against the Marlins. They didn't look fantastic offensively. They did enough. Pitching looks good. The pitching looks good. That's what I've thought about this team. The pitching will be good. Can the offense be really, really good? Well, I don't know. But they didn't do enough for me to move one way or the other. They're a good team, and they're here at number 10.
Coming in at number 9, San Diego Padres.
The Padres weren't on this list originally. They have now moved up a few slots. I had them just outside of the top 10 before the season. What they did opening weekend to me was really impressive pitching-wise. They carried a no-hitter into the 7th inning twice. Yu Darvish and Sean Manaea to start the year. So if this pitching staff can be elite, like we thought they would be last year, then that adds a whole new dynamic to this team. They're going to hit, and when Tatis comes back, they're going to be great offensively. But if they can pitch like they have been to start the year, they have a chance to do some damage. So they have moved up the list. They're at number 9 for my way too early.
With Tatis, are they top 5?
I don't know if I'd go top 5. But with Tatis, I like him to come back and make a massive difference. So I actually didn't think they'd be here this early in the year. But what they did pitching-wise is enough to get them up here. With Tatis, that adds a whole new layer. You're right there.
Coming in number 8, the New York Mets.
The Mets impressed opening weekend. Now, it was against the Nationals, but you can't fault them for playing the Nationals. They pitched well. Mark Canha's hitting .700, which I don't know if he'll be able to keep that up all year, but I'm not going to bet against it. This revamped offense looks good. Mark Canha, great. Eduardo Escobar is so fun to watch. Pete Alonso's getting in fights and hitting grand slams and flipping his bat. It's incredible. To be fair, he was thrown at his face. They hit him in the face, so of course he's going to be mad. And the pitching is without Jacob deGrom. So they are here now without deGrom. They could be higher, but Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett looks good. They look good. They're here at number 8.
Coming in number 7, the Atlanta Braves.
Now the Braves I have right in front of the Mets in these power rankings, and the Braves did not look good to start the year. They lose a series to the Reds, but they were much higher. I have moved the Braves down a few slots in the power rankings, in the first power rankings of the year, because of that opening series. You have to. But this Braves team is really good. There should not be cause for concern. Just a little update here because Ronald Acuna Jr. isn't back yet. Mike Soroka won't be back until the midway point. So until this team proves that with what they have currently on the field, I had to move them down a little bit for losing to the Reds, and that's why they're here at 7.
Coming in number 6, this one surprised me, New York Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees are good, and they impressed opening week by beating the Red Sox, the biggest rivalry perhaps in sports, but certainly the biggest rivalry in baseball. It's a big series on a big stage. All of the games were in prime time. Sunday Night Baseball they got, and they end up winning the series. So I didn't move them a lot. I had them right around here to start the year. Look, the thing with this team is like what we talked about at the top. We know what they are. They're going to hit a lot of bombs. They're going to strike out a lot. The pitching, the bullpen is what impressed me and what I liked from this Yankees team. I have them at number 6.
Coming in number 5, the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, the White Sox are probably the most complete team on paper in the American League, in the AL Central for sure. But on paper, starting pitching all the way through, really good. Offensively, really good. Bullpen, really good. But that opening series just showed some weaknesses. They lose that opening game to the Tigers. They end up winning that series, but the injury bug just keeps getting them. A.J. Pollock tweaks a hamstring. Lucas Giolito hurt. in his first start, goes on the IL. Garrett Crochet, who we talked about before the season, Tommy John out for the year. Liam Hendriks didn't look great in the back end of that bullpen. So I had them just a smidge higher originally, and I moved them down a tick due to injuries and Liam Hendriks not looking great. But they're still really, really good. I didn't want to overthink this. I do think they'll still win the AL Central. They're at number 5.
Luckily for you, White Sox fans are very reasonable, and I'm sure they understand.
Always very
number
reasonable,
4,
yes.
LA Dodgers.
The Dodgers at number 4, and before the year I had them at number 1. This one is simple. They do, on paper, have the best lineup in baseball, one of the greatest of all time. They are a great team. But you can't lose a series to the Rockies and stay at number 1. You just can't. That's not going to happen. So like I said earlier, these are way too early predictions or power rankings, and there's not a big sample size to go off of. But I am going with what I have to go off of. I'm not going to move the Dodgers out of the top 10 because they lose to the Rockies. We know they're still great, but I have to move them out of the number 1 spot because of that series. The offense hasn't started clicking yet. I promise you it will. It is incredible when you look at that lineup, 1 through 9, but they're not there yet. I had to move them down a tick there at number 4.
Coming number 3, your World Series prediction, Toronto Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays I also moved down just a smidge. I had them at number 2, I believe, before this year started. I have them here because, well, they gave up 23 runs to the Rangers. That's not great. I was a big believer in this rotation. I still am a believer in this rotation. Manoah went into Yankee Stadium and dominated. They end up shutting out the Yankees. So maybe that's the start that they needed to start pitching well. But I just moved them down because of all the runs they gave up, and they didn't sweep the Rangers, who aren't going to be a great team. But offensively, man, this is a team that everybody should watch. When your favorite team's not playing, watch the Blue Jays. They are fun. They're at number 3.
Coming number 2, a team that just always keeps coming back, the Tampa Bay Rays.
You know, I always kick myself because, like, to start the year, I always think, okay, I'm going to move the Rays down. Like, they've been really good. No, stop. I'm done overthinking it. The Rays sweep the Orioles to start the year. Yes, I hear you. It's the Orioles, but they looked good. We know the Rays. Wander Franco is incredible. He looks to be a star in this league. And to be honest with you, I'm just done overthinking it. The Rays do it every single year with a roster that doesn't, on paper, line up with everybody else, but they just do everything better than everybody else. They do the little things. Analytically, they're better. All around, they just get the absolute best from what they are given. And that is why I'm not overthinking this. I'm jacking them up the list. They are at number 2.
Coming at number 1, Houston Astros.
Yeah, I'm going to give you facts, okay? Fact. The Astros won 3 of 4 against the Angels on the road for opening week. Another fact. Alex Bregman, 2 homers in the first 2 games. He appears to be back into his MVP caliber form. Also a fact. The starting pitching gave up 4 earned runs in 4 games. Starting pitching looked incredible. Jeremy Pena stepped in the shoes of Carlos Correa, which are the biggest shoes you can fill at a position, and he was really good. 3 hits in a game. Played good defense. This team is complete. Watching them in person, it immediately became apparent they are an elite team in baseball. Kyle Tucker, a friend of the podcast, hitting in the 6th hole. He's an MVP caliber player this year. Justin Verlander is back. Cy Young in his last full season in 2019. He was the best pitcher in the American League. He has stepped back in, and it appears he hasn't missed a beat. He's throwing 97. He's looking good out on the mound. He's healthy. The Houston Astros, after opening week, are without a doubt in my mind the number 1 team in baseball. and they round out the top 10. That is my top 10 power rankings. Way too early, not a big sample size, but here we are. The season has started, so I get to bring you power rankings. And it feels so good to be back. I can't wait for everybody to hate on my power rankings this year, but we're back. Astros round out the top 10.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.